There, friends on YouTube, it's the JTL. I'm back again, and today I want to introduce you to a brand new series that I'm going to be doing on the channel called Unsolicited Opinion, in which I give an opinion that I have about something that, nobody probably gives a crap if I have an opinion about it, but, I do. And it's going to probably be every Wednesday. It's going to be about things that are happening in the news, or maybe things that I've been thinking about, any number of things. So today I wanted to get started with a light topic, something small, something non-controversial. And so I decided to talk about PewDiePie, Donald J. Trump, and their war on the media, or the media's war on them, as the case may be. So I want to start out by making a few disclaimers. I am not a Donald Trump supporter. I also, at times, enjoy PewDiePie's videos. I do think that he was railroaded by the Wall Street Journal and treated unfairly in that context. And I think that he has a general grievance with the Wall Street Journal and the other media that's now piling onto him in terms of how he's being treated and represented. I do also, though, think that PewDiePie made mistakes. I think that the choices that he made in trying to get the social commentary that he was making across were poor choices. And for that, he has tried to stand up and say, okay, I didn't do things the way that I should have done, but I was taken out of context by the news outlet that reported the story. And that much is true. If you go back and you watch the videos that PewDiePie put up, they weren't only about the pieces that the Wall Street Journal has cherry-picked out and then said, okay, so PewDiePie dressed up as a Nazi and watched Hitler on the computer, and so he's a Nazi. Or PewDiePie said these things through Fiverr.com, and so he's an anti-semite. That's a big leap to make, and it sells papers, as they say, but it wasn't entirely the full story. So now I want to go on and talk about what we should really be focused on in the aftermath, what PewDiePie should be focused on in the aftermath, and what we face, especially here in the United States, when it comes to our president's continued attacks on the journalism realm, on the Fourth Estate, and what the real danger is there. Okay, so first let's start with PewDiePie. Little background. He made a video first with through Fiverr.com. He offered $5 for these two guys in rural India, I believe it was, to hold up a sign that said something really offensive to a group of people, and he just wanted to see if somebody would do it for $5. Now, this is social commentary, right? A social experiment by PewDiePie that he just wants to see if this could happen. The problem that he had, and Film Theory, that website or that YouTube channel, also had a little, they made a few points along these lines too, but I want to make a couple of additional points that are similar. I'm a writer, and as a writer, one of the things that I've learned is you can't sell out your characters. If you the writer and the reader know that the characters are in the midst of a joke, that they become the butt of a joke, and everyone above them knows it, the writer, the reader, but the characters don't know, then that doesn't work, and it ultimately erodes the trust of the reader for the writer, because they recognize that the writer has thrown their characters under the bus for a laugh. And that's kind of what PewDiePie did, both to the Fiverr folks and to the Fiverr Jesus guy, who he asked to say things that wouldn't necessarily be things that they might say. I think in the case of the two guys in India, they didn't even really understand what they were saying. And PewDiePie made a poor choice in terms of what he asked them to say, because he made both those guys and the Jewish people the butt of a joke in service of his social commentary, and that just wasn't cool, okay? However, the way that he has been railroaded and now victimized in the press is not good either. So PewDiePie made a response video. Let me click over here. You can see down here my response. When PewDiePie made this my response video, I thought he was contrite. I thought that he recognized that he had made a mistake. I thought that he owned up to that mistake and made everyone aware that he was going to do what he could do to not have those kinds of mistakes happen in the past and to repair as much as he could the situation. Now, he'd already lost income sources. He'd lost face in the media. He'd been accused of things that were misrepresented by a trusted news source like the Wall Street Journal. He made a follow-up video on the 24th of February. You can see it right here, in which he sort of takes a little bit of umbrage with the piling on that some media outlets did, and then he goes on down here to discuss why the Wall Street Journal and other print media sources might want to undermine the folks of the new media. Like PewDiePie is the largest example of YouTube's power in the media sphere, as it were. So he gives us a couple of things here. Let's just take a quick listen.
Trust in media going down based on age. I assume that pieces like this is not helping with that. Here's a graph of the newspaper ad revenue from digital and print, showing decrease of revenue in the media. Oh, okay, so Wall Street is losing influence.
So basically he's saying that the knives are out for people like PewDiePie because the print media is losing revenue and becoming desperate. And maybe that's true. But he goes on in here to put up some tweets from Ben Fritz, who I believe is maybe the guy who wrote the piece in the Wall Street Journal. And Ben Fritz has, all kinds of unsavory things to say in a joking manner. And so PewDiePie's point is, it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't necessarily say that I am doing these things and you can't, and then you turn around and do them yourself. Now, problem with that. The problem with that is PewDiePie is now losing track of the idea that yes, he was wronged. Yes, things didn't go well. Yes, he's in a difficult situation. But by continuing to focus on it, to continue to now attack, he is doing more damage to himself and to his audience and to the erosion of the trust in the media that he pointed out right here. So this is him pointing out that the media is no longer as trusted by people from 18 to 49 years old in this poll. So in doing this, he has a point. He has a point that maybe the media shouldn't be trusted if this is what they're going to do. But I don't think that this is what the media does as a whole. And that's not a point that PewDiePie goes on to make. He doesn't necessarily say that this isn't indicative of the entirety of the media. Now, let's transition to our friend, Mr. Trump, who has said things like the media, he keeps saying fake news, but really he doesn't mean fake news. He means the media. And he uses the phrase fake news as a hedge. He can't, so if anybody calls him on it, he can say, oh, I don't mean everybody. I just mean the fake news like CNN. Now, am I a fan of CNN? No. I'm one of those people who takes things with a grain of salt. I've worked in the media, though, and I know that the majority of the people who report the news do so with a sense of duty, that they want to get the information that people need out to those people. And so when President Trump, oh God, I can't believe I said that. When President Trump says things like this.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. In fact, in covering my comments, the dishonest media did not explain that I called the fake news the enemy of the people, the fake news.
See, there he is. He's making that distinction so that he can't be called out. But what his real goal is to undermine people's trust in the media, so that he can do and say things much in the way that he did during the campaign and not get called on it. And that's where the similarity between what Trump is doing and has done and what PewDiePie is now in the middle of comes in. PewDiePie definitely, desperately wants to be exonerated for these mistakes, and I don't blame him. Trump has an ulterior motive. He wants to be able to consolidate his power by weakening the media so that he doesn't have a force like the Fourth Estate to push back hard on him, so that people will trust his vision and his words without checking their sources. So that's a move it's a dictatorial move. To silence the press is a dictatorial move that is like, the first pawn out in the game of chess, that is to consolidate power and make that power more potentially absolute. Now, PewDiePie is a single individual, a well-known single individual. He's got a target on his back like people would have if they're in the spotlight. And he is the face of a new media. In PewDiePie's case, and I want to say this directly to Felix PewDiePie, my friend, Brofist, I want to say this directly to you in the sense that you have an opportunity here. You've been wronged. You made mistakes. The way that you react in this moment is going to live on with you. I understand that you're feeling hurt and wronged, and you want to make amends and also get some of the truth out there. But at this point, I think the best thing that you can do is to say, I've said everything I'm going to say about this. I'm going to go on to continue to make my content. I'm going to go on to continue to entertain my fans and to do the things that I do. And you've owned your mistakes. You've said you're going to try and learn from them. And now just go on. The problem that you have is that by continuing to address the subject, you're making fire where there was smoke. The more you talk about it, the more people think about it. The more people think about it, the more they might believe that there's something there. If you continue to repeat an untruth, it eventually becomes true. So I think you have a choice to make here. You've been doing this for a long time. When you started on YouTube, you were a PewDiePie, you were a younger person. You were doing it for fun. You had no expectations for what it would become now. Now you are the biggest YouTube entertainer on the planet, and you're still very young. And I think that you're chafing against what the expectations for being PewDiePie are. You no longer feel like the goofy guy who can play games and have fun. PewDiePie has made these videos where I really appreciated the fake happiness, fake positivity video that PewDiePie made, because I think he has the opportunity to make social commentaries like that from a place of strength. To say, you shouldn't have to go on YouTube and pretend that you're having a great time and pretend that you're in a great mood if you're not. And if you don't stay true to yourself, then you're creating a falsehood. I wonder if you're enjoying making your videos now. If the social commentary videos are what you want to make, I think that you have to make a clear point of saying, you know what, I'm not the guy who played video games anymore. I want to do these things that explore what's happening in our world and what my thoughts are on it. And you have the opportunity to do that, but by remaining stuck on this idea of why did this happen to you is not going to help you out. Mr. Trump, I don't have anything to say to you, Mr. Trump. I think you know exactly what you're doing, and I don't think you care. But PewDiePie, as much as I think that you made a mistake, and as much as I hope that you understand and are contrite about those mistakes, I think you have huge potential to be a force for good in the world of media. I think that you can show people how to come out of difficult situations in positive ways, and I hope that you're going to do that. I appreciate everybody watching. This is my first episode of Unsolicited Opinion. Until the next time, I'm the JTL, and please let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll be back again soon. Till then, I'm out.